I'm Ryan here for Trailblazer RV, and we're going to take you through a orientation on a 2014 Catalina 30 RLS. We're going to start here at the front of the trailer, where you have your propane and your battery. Right here you've got two 30-pound propane bottles. This unit has an auto switchover regulator. You can see right now it's reading red, saying there's no propane pressure to the system. But if I open the bottles slowly, you'll see it turn to green. Now right now the regulator is selected to run off this bottle. Once this bottle depletes, this sight glass will turn back to red, but the regulator will automatically switch over to run off this bottle so that you can remove this bottle without shutting off your propane system. If you switch the regulator over to this bottle, it will start reading green again, and then you're good to remove the bottle. Back here we have your battery. This unit has one RV24 battery installed on it. On an RV, your red wire is always the positive wire, and in this RV, the white is your negative. This is a flooded wet cell battery. We do recommend you periodically check the fluid levels in there. You can do so by removing these caps. Under there you'll find 6 cells. You need to top up the batteries. Check them and top them up at least a couple times a year using distilled water up to the fill line. Come around to this side of the unit. In your front storage compartment, you've got 2 crank handles. One is for your stabilizer jacks. Run those jacks down until just snug with the ground. They are not meant to lift or level the unit, only to stabilize. For leveling, you'll need to do that with chocks or with blocks under the wheels to level the unit side to side. Also in there is the manual crank handle for your power jack. To operate that, you just remove the cap here on the top of the jack, and there's a little nut down in there you can crank on to manually operate your power jack if you have no power to the trailer. Down here we have your sewer connections. You've got black tank and a smaller gray tank valve. When dumping the holding tanks, always make sure to dump the black valve first. You do that by just pulling this valve over and opening it, allowing it to run until the material is all gone. It's not a bad idea to also flush the black tank with fresh water after dumping it, just to help remove some of the solids and any toilet paper buildup that may be in there. Please keep in mind to always use toilet paper and chemicals approved for RV use. A normal household toilet paper won't break down and will clog your tank, and you'll have a hard time clearing that up. Once the black tank has dumped, you can close that valve and open the gray valve. What this will do is, while the gray valve is dumping, it will help clear out anything left in the pipe and also your sewer hose, so you have less mess to clean up after. Once that's done, you can again close the valve and replace the cap, and you're good to go for the next time. After you've dumped the holding tanks, always make sure to put a new dose of your holding tank chemical into the toilet so that it's ready to go for next time. Right here we have your city water connection. This is if you're hooked up to pressure at either your campsite or home or wherever you're using the RV. You just stick a garden hose on here. We recommend you use a drinking water safe hose. That way you don't get the plasticky garden hose taste in your water. The other thing we recommend is to use a water pressure regulator when hooking up to city water. The plumbing system in this unit is only rated for about 40 to 45 psi, and a lot of different campgrounds will have different water pressures. That water pressure regulator is just going to make sure your water system isn't overpressured, which could cause leaks. Next to that, you have your outside shower. Pretty simple, hot and cold. Just only thing to remember here is it often gets missed when you're winterizing. Just make sure you remember this when you're winterizing your RV. Down here we have your running gear. This unit, the tires are filled to 65 psi. We recommend running at the max cold pressure at all times. This one, like I said again, 65 psi on the tires. The wheel nuts have also been torqued to 100 foot-pounds. As part of your regular RV maintenance, we recommend you regularly check your tire pressure to make sure it maintains that 65 psi, and also periodically retorque the lug nuts. Back here in your bumper is where your sewer hose will be stored. You can just remove this cap, and as you can see, we have a brand new hose in there for you as well. Back here is your 30 amp power supply. This can be plugged directly into a 30 amp power source at the campsite. We have also supplied an adapter to adapt down to 15 amp power if you have a normal household plug to plug into. Right here we have your water heater. This unit has a propane and electric water heater on it. Important thing to remember here, if you are going to run the water heater on electric, there is a secondary switch on here that will need to be turned to the on position for the water heater to work on electric. When it's in the off position, it's a safety that will shut it off so that you can't accidentally fire up the water heater with no water in it and burn out the electric element. Also important to note on the water heater is right here you have two reset buttons. If for whatever reason your water heater stops working, this is a good place to start and check. You can just press both of these resets in. If they have tripped, you'll feel them push in and a click, and then you should be good to go again. Also of note on the water heater, if this is your water pressure relief valve, it's important if you are removing the plug in the water heater that you pull this handle and relieve the pressure off of the water heater to prevent it from giving you a shower. Right next to the water heater is your fresh water connection. If you're filling your fresh tank, you will do it here. You can just remove the cap and stick your garden hose in there. We also recommend getting a water tank filler. It's just another nozzle that will go on the end of your water hose and make it a little easier to fill the connection. And right below that is your fresh water tank drain. If you want to drain your fresh water tank, just remove this plug and it will drain through this hose. Also, just to note over here, both your furnace vent and your water heater can get hot. On this unit, they're both on the camping site, so just be aware if there are young children and that sort of thing around, make sure they're aware to stay away from both of those things. And now we can go inside the unit. We are now inside the 2014 Catalina 30 RLS. We'll start right here by the door where you have your slide out switch. Just push in to retract the slide and out to open the slide. On this unit, it's important to remember that the reclining chair is in the way of the slide, so you will need to move that chair into the doorway before retracting the slide. Also here you have the switch for your power awning. Same operation, in to retract the awning, out to extend. if it's windy, make sure, windy or raining, make sure to run the awning in to avoid damaging it. This unit also has an electric fireplace. Important to note, this will only work if you are plugged into 110 volt power. It does not run off of the RV's battery. Also here is your 12 volt stereo, CD player, and DVD player if you so choose to install a TV. Next we have your propane and electric refrigerator. To turn it on, you simply depress this button that says on. The lights will come on, indicating that this unit is currently on auto, meaning it will select to run off electricity if available, and if not, it will switch over to propane. There is a button here to override that auto to select to run off gas only. Only instances you would choose to do that, perhaps you're plugged into a weak breaker or something like that where you'd rather be running off propane than drawing that power. Some people also find that it will cool faster on propane than electric, keeping in mind that it does take several hours for an RV fridge to cool down, so you're going to want to start it up usually the night before you are going to load it with food. Next we have your RV range. It does have a DS or a sparker on it. Just turn on the burners and turn the sparker. You can see all 3 burners light. The only thing on this RV that does have a pilot light is the oven. In order to light the oven, you need to turn the knob to pilot on while pushing in. Inside the oven, you'll see the thermocouple down here. Hold the lighter on that pilot until it ignites. Continuing to hold the button, let it warm up for a few seconds, at which point you can turn the oven to whichever temperature you choose to set it at. Once you are done using the oven, you can either turn it back to the pilot on and leave the pilot running until next time, or just shut it off and relight the pilot the next time you're going to use it. Unit does come with a microwave. Also of note, this will only function when plugged into power. Down this way, we have your thermostat. This thermostat will control both your furnace and your air conditioner. In order to run furnace, you turn it to heat and then select whichever temperature you want it set at. The furnace fan will kick in and run through a purge cycle for a few seconds before the burner ignites. Once it's finished its purge cycle, you'll hear a ticking, and then the burner will ignite to light the furnace. When it shuts off, the burner will go out, but that fan will continue to run for a few minutes again to finish another purge cycle before completely shutting down. Excuse me. To run the AC, you can switch over to cool. And then again set your temperature. We recommend running it in the auto fan mode all the time. You can select high or low fan. However, in that case, the fan will be on all of the time, including if you are running your furnace, which is counterproductive. You can run just the fan if you so choose to select fan in high or low mode, just if you would like a little bit of air movement through the unit. The air conditioner, again, can only be run when plugged into 30 amp power. Go inside the washroom here. Of note in the washroom is the toilet. When we were talking about the holding tanks, we recommended loading the tank with the proper chemical to do that. When you do so, we recommend you load the charge into the toilet, depress the handle to fill the bowl Once it's full, then you can flush it down. Also of note in the bathroom is the GFI outlet. In an RV, most, if not all of the outlets are all connected to the GFI. So if you find you're plugged into power and you're not getting power through your outlets, come check the GFI outlet. It's the same as what's in your household with the test and reset button. If you're not getting power, just push the reset button and your outlets should start working again. Down here, we also have your carbon monoxide propane detector. It serves three functions. It will alert you to a propane leak, a carbon monoxide leak, but also to a low battery, which is usually the most common time when it will go off. If you have the alarm or find the alarm is beeping periodically every few seconds rather than a clear alarm sound, it's likely indicating you have a low battery rather than a problem, but something you should be aware of anyway. Right here we have your monitor panel. This is where you will control both your water pump and your water heater. When I turn the water heater on, this light comes on. This is the DSI light for the propane water heater. That light will come on to indicate a fault. Once the water heater has ignited, that light will go out. Also on here is your monitor panel registering your battery, fresh water, black water, and gray water levels. The battery right now is showing 2/3. It will, or good. It will only show the full or charge if the unit is plugged in or battery is currently charging. In the bedroom of the RV, you will notice that there's storage under the bed for extra clothing, blankets, towels, whatever you want there. But also your smoke detector. The smoke detector, again, same as the household smoke detector, does have a 10-year lifespan. However, the battery will need to be checked at least once a year to make sure the battery does not go dead. It is not wired into the RV like the carbon monoxide propane detector is. The final thing to show you here on the Catalina is your converter. It will be behind the camping side chair. This is where your power distribution comes from with your 120 volt breakers and 12 volt fuses. If you find something's not working, come check here. If it's a 110 volt appliance, likely a breaker, or 12 volt appliance, likely a fuse. If the circuit is on, there are lights on the side here indicating that the fuse is blown. In this one, you have 15 amp and 40 amp fuses. We recommend carrying a few fuses with you as it is relatively common for fuses to blow in an RV. Also of note on the computer, periodically you will hear a humming sound coming from the converter. There is a cooling fan in there that if you are operating under high load or your battery is low and it is charging, you will hear that fan come on similar to a computer. That's just cooling the circuits in there to keep it working properly. And that concludes our walk around of the 2014 Catalina 30 RLS. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us here at the dealership or visit us on our website at www.trailblazerrv.com. Thank you.